Can quantum healing and quantum woo work on Alzheimer's? Really great question. Let's get into it. This one hits home for me. My father has dementia. He's a brilliant PhD, has a patent, and he's literally losing the thing he loves so much. It's too bad that he actually doesn't really know or believe in what I do, because I would love to give it a shot at helping him. And here's how I see it at Frequency, these Alzheimer's types of degenerative diseases, and what are potentially some things to do. Now, I haven't had a whole lot of cases like this, but from what I've seen in my own family, friends, and friends of families, etc., is the folks tend to run a very specific pattern. They're very attached to the way that they think, their minds, and straight out materialism, meaning what's physical. They have to see it to believe it. Always very curious about death. Now, that could be a number of things. This is stubbornness. This is pride. This is a polarizing belief that this is the way that it is. So almost like a militant type of frequency around rigidity, thought pattern, and certainty. Almost like a scientific way of thinking, or people who have very compartmentalized ways of thinking. So there's not a whole lot of bandwidth for things that are in the unknown. Another common theme tends to be with a very specific generation, and they usually had a very predictive lifestyle. So it's almost like highly intelligent people that get really bored. And then the rumination kicks in from neurotoxicity, pathogens that are being fed from bacteria that live in the gut, in the pancreas, and in the liver from pesticides and vaccines, which causes sleep paralysis. And then once you start actually losing the sleep cycle, you really start to lose yourself even further in time. The more you lose your sense of time, the more you have no idea where you are, the more this psychosis kind of kicks into gear. The time thing is a big issue. People who have degenerative diseases mentally first have no idea where they are in space-time. So they're constantly sleeping. They have very irregular schedules with sleep patterns. And then again, they start to actually lose their cognitive function. Deeper patterning is a lot of these people typically come from a war frequency or a deep religious patterning, very deep religious patterning. So there's a deep sacrifice pattern, burden pattern, over responsibility pattern, and the pressure and the stress gets too much. They can't take it. They check out. A lot of times these folks have unprocessed trauma that they cannot face, and they refuse to look at it. So they just would rather lose it than face it. So a session would be like this. I'd orient them in space-time, present moment, then look at the epigenetic patterns in the timeline associated with it. What should I do next?